The producers and distributors of Tech AV technical training aids welcome you to this program in the series Automotive Electrical Maintenance. This is program number 4 of this series, in which you will be learning the procedures for testing and renewing components in typical starter motors. Please note that the procedures for dismantling and assembling of starter motors are covered in program AEM3 of this series. In this program, you will be shown procedures involved in the inspection of mechanical components, electrical condition tests, renewal of brushes and bushings, and other useful tips. Part 1. Mechanical Component Inspection. This is the drive end bracket which must be inspected for physical damage such as cracks and broken sections. The drive end armature bushing will be renewed. All machined facings are checked for any high spots or distortion. Threaded holes must be checked for thread damage. This is the commutator end support, also referred to as the brush plate on this design of starter. Checks must be made for any physical damage such as cracks, breaks or distortion. A further check is made to see that the brush holder rivets are secure. The front armature support bushing is housed in this assembly. This bushing we shall renew. This is the field case, also called the starter frame. On this unit we again check for physical damage such as distortion or damage at the end facings. Pole shoe fasteners should be checked for security. On our demonstration model, we can at this time see some bad damage to the brush lead insulation. Although this is not strictly a mechanical fault, we would note this problem during our inspection. The armature assembly. Several points of attention are given to this unit, the first being wear. Wear can occur at the shaft bearing surfaces and more commonly upon the commutator. Owing to the rubbing action of the brushes, a commutator will eventually become worn or ridged. Pitting and scoring of a commutator is also a common condition. To correct these conditions, a commutator can be skimmed to produce a flat and polished condition. Prior to skimming the armature, which is performed on a lathe, the armature shaft is checked for bends using a dial test indicator. A bent shaft will mean that the armature must be renewed. The commutator is very carefully cut to remove as little material as possible in order to restore the surface condition. Close inspection must be made to the risers. This is the area of the commutator where the windings are terminated with solder to each commutator bar. If the soldered joints have loosened or solder has run out of a joint, then the armature should be repaired by a qualified person. The pinion drive assembly, also known as a Bendix unit. For purposes of demonstration, we have removed the unit from the armature. A typical Bendix consists of a pinion gear, an overrunning clutch unit, and a shifter collar. An integral part of the Bendix mechanism is the shifter fork and the fulcrum pin. Checks must be made for excessive wear on the gear teeth of the pinion, then on the shifter fork lugs. Excessive side play in the collar will result in poor pinion engagement to the engine's ring gear. The fulcrum pin should fit neatly, as wear between the pin and fork will also result in faulty pinion engagement. Check the overrun clutch by rotating the pinion. It must turn freely in one direction. When turned in the opposite direction, the clutch, if in good order, will lock and the whole assembly will rotate. A unit that rotates freely in both directions is faulty and will require replacing. The solenoid unit. Physical inspection is made to ensure that no cracks exist in the body or the insulated section. Further, inspect the terminal studs and connections for damage to threads or for loosened soldered joints. Check that any springs are intact and not broken or missing. The through bolts. Inspect these important fasteners for bending and thread damage. The same inspection is made to the solenoid fasteners. After the break, we shall look at specific electrical condition checks.